Alright, I'm Matt, and in my last video, I introduced my 2019 TW200 and said, hey, there's going to be a few things I want to do to it, a few upgrades I want to make. And the first one that, I really noticed that I could afford at the moment that I wanted to look into was these Tusk D-Flex handguards. So I bought these at Rocky Mountain ATV. It's only about 45 minutes north of me, so I called the order in and I went in and I picked it up, came back and installed everything. And I feel like an idiot because I had recorded the entire install, but today as I was going to load the video, I accidentally deleted part of that video. So I'm just going to do hopefully a quick walkthrough and you can see how to install these and the few little modifications that I had to make them fit my TW. Overall, I've been happy with them. It was a pretty simple install. It took me about 45 minutes just because I was recording the video, and it was just a few basic tools. So I'll grab the camera and I'll just walk through this here with you a little bit and just let you know how it all went together and the few little mods I had to make them fit the TW. Now, one thing to keep in mind is there are a lot of different handlebars out there, and so there might be some requirements that you have to make to put these on if you do decide to go this route. The one thing that I really like about these is they're more on the cheaper side, but they offer quite a few benefits. So they're going to offer tip over protection for your handlebar, plus your levers. It's going to help keep from getting the levers bent when you're out riding in the trails and those branches that if you're riding through tight brush come to smack you. These will help deflect that, which is really nice. And one of the things that I really enjoy about them too is when you're riding barehanded just around town and whatnot, like I do quite a bit with this, it protects from the wind. And over here in Utah we've had quite a bit of rain for the last couple of weeks, and having these on there, I rode with them yesterday, do make a difference. They're not huge, but they do offer some wind resistance and keep your hands a little bit warmer when you're just riding around. So let me grab the camera and I'll show you a few things with the install and the few little modifications that I made, and we'll go from there. Alright, so a quick little walk around. These handguards come with the handguard, the aluminum rail that they mount to, your expander bolt right here, and then your clamp that goes onto your handlebar right here. These bolts are a 5mm, so you're going to need a 5mm Allen for that one. You're going to need a number 2 Phillips screwdriver for those, 5mm for that one, for your bar clamp, and then on the bottom of these bar clamp bolts, you're going to have some 10mm lock nuts that are going to have to be tightened down. So 5mm, 10mm socket, number 2 Phillips, and then you are going to have to cut the end of your grips off. So razor blade, pocket knife, whatever that may be, to cut the end of the grip off there is what you're going to need. So the throttle side definitely took me a little bit longer than the clutch side, because one thing you want to make sure is that your throttle still rotates freely. When I first got it set up, my throttle was pretty tight and it wouldn't, snap back, so I had to make a few adjustments, and I'll show you what I did with mine. So over here on the handlebar clamp, if you can see it here, you can see that. Let's see if I can't get that camera to focus in there on us a little bit. Yeah, you can see that I kind of had to notch that out. So I just used a metal cutting tool just to, notch that out a little bit to fit right there underneath the crossbar. And once I did that, I was able to pull the rail over far enough that would allow me to maintain, that free movement of the throttle there. And one other thing that I did do is right here. So this is your expander bolt that it comes stock with. See if I can't get that camera to focus a little bit in there for us. I had to put another washer in there, and that just pulled the rail out from that expander bolt a little bit, just to make sure that that throttle, you know, was still free moving. So those were the mods that I made on this one. Just that handlebar bracket there, that washer there, and then that was it for that side. And then I came over here to the clutch side, and the clutch side was a piece of cake. It only took me maybe a minute, you know, to get everything put together. So one thing that you will need to remember too is these hand guards, this hole comes pre-drilled, but this one here doesn't. So I just got a little butterfly bit real quick and just drilled that out enough to get that bolt in there, but not that big of a deal. This side was extremely easy to do. So one thing that I want to tell you about too is over here on the throttle side, when I cut the end of the grip off, the throttle tube that sits underneath here there was, you know, just solid plastic, because that tube just slides over the handlebar there. But there was a piece there, so I just grabbed a drill bit, and drilled that out, and then got my round file and just filed off those edges so they were nice and smooth. And again, you can see, you know, I've still got the full range of motion there in the throttle, and it works really well. So just a few things to keep in mind there. And then just the overall, you know, appearance of the bike with the 2019s, and I believe the 2018s had the same colorway, you know, just that black and tan. Those black handguards, I think, accented the bike pretty well. One thing too is those handguards come in different colors. I mean, there's blue, white, yellow, black, orange, red. So, you know, there's quite a few to choose from, and they're all going to be that same $40 mark. So, anyways, just wanted to show you that, and I'll get on. You know, I'll set the camera back down and tell you a few more things, and then we'll wrap this up. Alright, so just want to get on here real quick and just kind of show you just what they look like, you know, with the bike standing up. But overall, I've been really happy with them. Obviously, I don't have too many miles on them. I'm going to be putting, you know, quite a few more miles on it. And then I can give you a little bit more of a review later on, just to see, you know, how they hold up. And they seem pretty durable. They're made out of, you know, at least the aluminum rails are 3/8 aluminum. They weigh, I don't know if I told you this before, but the whole pack together weighs just about 2.5 pounds. So it's not very heavy. It's not going to affect your handling all that much. So I think the benefits definitely outweigh the risk factor here, just with, you know, I'm going to have to take the little cable ties off to make sure everything fits good. But once everything's rerouted, it, you know, benefits definitely are worth, you know, the $40. So one thing too that I wanted to talk about, you know, as I was starting to get this bike set up the way I want it, the next thing I'm going to be looking at is the rear rack. And it's a toss-up right now between the Cycle Rack's rear rack and the Tusk rear rack. So the Cycle Rack's running in about $199 brand new, and the Tusk is running in at $119 brand new. So if you're watching this and you have, you know, a rack on your TW, please let me know what you prefer, what you recommend, just because, you know, any help goes a long, long way. So I plan on keeping this bike forever. It's already been exactly what I wanted it to be. Just a bike to putt around town on, to go up in the mountain trails with, one that my kids can ride on with me. I usually have got one kid in front holding on to the crossbar and one kid in the back, you know, holding around my waist. And it's already provided quite a few smiles and fun. So this one's going to be in the garage for a while. But anyways, just wanted to give you that, you know, short overview of the Tusk D-Flex handguards. that I bought for, again, my 2019 TW. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If there's any questions or, again, any recommendations or things that you've done that, you can say, hey, I did this and it works great, please let me know. Comment on there and I'll do my best to get back to you. So again, I'm Matt, 2019 TW, and thanks for watching.